Welcome to Werks. I hope you enjoyed today's video, and if you do, please like, subscribe, and comment. Today's video is on my purchase of a SUNLU Filament Connector model FC01. According to the manufacturer, the SUNLU Filament Connector can fuse filament, maximizing the use of each roll of 3D filament and reducing waste from small leftover pieces of filament. The filament connector easily fuses filament of the same material but different colors. At room temperature, SUNLU Filament Connector takes about 3 minutes to quickly heat up to 365 degrees Fahrenheit or 185 degrees Celsius, which is way more than enough to burn you. So if you get one, be aware of this fact and be very careful when using the filament connector. The filament connector is compatible with a variety of 3D printer filaments, such as PLA, PETG, ABS, PA, PC. The package does not include a power adapter. The manufacturer recommends using a 5-volt 2-amp adapter to ensure the filament connector powers up correctly. The filament connector is designed to only fuse 1.75 millimeter diameter filament. The packaging was pretty good with no visible damage, and all parts were packed tightly together to avoid any damage to the parts. The parts consisted of instructions, PTFE sleeves, USB cable, filament connector, and some advertising information. I didn't read the advertising information and only quickly glanced at the instructions before I used the filament connector. I did open and close the cover to ensure the lid operated correctly and the heating element and splice cutter and those all work freely. I used a small wall socket adapter that was within the suggested manufacturer recommendations, and I did not have any issues with the setup. The first cut I made was not very good because I cut the filament in half and the ends were square to the sides. I found that if you cut the filament pieces, you want to hold them side by side and cut at an angle, and the fusing process will work much better. I'll show this later in the video. After I cut and placed the sleeve on the 2 pieces of filament for fusing, I turned the filament connector on to start the warm-up. I didn't time the warm-up process, but it seemed close to 3 to 4 minutes to reach temperature. Not really an excessive amount of time. I tried to let the filament connector do all the work, and I placed the filament in the fusing portion of the unit. I didn't hold or apply pressure to the ends of the filament, and I just pulled the filament out of the holder to allow it to cool down. Once the filament was cool, I placed it into the sleeve slicer and closed the lid to cut the sleeve. Get your glasses on because I found it really difficult to find the separation in the sleeve. It does not cut all the way through the sleeve, just about 3/4 of the way, and then you locate the slice and peel the sleeve off. Because I took shortcuts in the process, the filament fusing failed. My fault, not the filament connectors. I'm going to try the process again and not take any shortcuts. I hold the filament pieces side by side and cut them at an angle to increase the fusing area of the filament, so that when I put them into the sleeve, it will be easier to mate up and get a better bond. I place the filament into the fusing area and close the cover, while applying a slight pressure to the ends of the filament. It only takes a few seconds for the filament to melt, and the filament connector has a beep sound to let you know when it has finished. I pull the filament out and hold it as steady as I can while I blow on it to help with the cooling of the filament pieces. I then place the fused filament into the sleeve slicer and close the lid to make the cut. I then take the filament out of the slicer and start the search for the slit in the sleeve to peel the sleeve off the filament. I gave up and decided to try and slice the sleeve again. This time I opened and closed the cover a few times to ensure the sleeve was sliced. That multiple openings and closing of the lid seemed to help with finding and peeling off the sleeve. That was a successful fusing of the filament. I tried to pull it apart and it was solid. Here's a view of the filament with the sleeve still on it. Here's a view of the filament with the sleeves removed. Thank you for watching, and I hope you got something from the video. I'm not sponsored by SUNLU and purchased the filament connector with my own money. I will post an affiliate link, and that will give the channel a few pennies toward better video equipment. If you do use the link, there is no additional cost to you, and I sincerely thank you. There is some economic issues involved, and my best guess is that you would have to reclaim at least 2 kilograms of filament to break even on the cost of the SUNLU Filament Connector. The best part, though, is there is less filament going into landfill, and that's a good thing.
Thank you for watching Werks, and I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did like the video, please give a thumbs up, subscribe for future videos, and comment. Thanks again.